He said it because of his wet blanket energy.
Unhinged. That's actually unhinged.
Hello and welcome to She's All Batch. This is Sound Off in the comments below. That is our weekly segment where you guys submit the topics that we talk about. Isn't that right, Jackie?
That is correct, Stephanie. And then you guys guessed it, talk about them.
Yes.
And it's a good time. We haven't done Bachelor Encounters in a while, so I feel like I need to preface and say all of our segments are a good time, not just Bachelor Encounters.
So if you submitted a topic, maybe one of your topics will be read today because one of the topics submitted was, I'm going to pull up the actual one. Someone wrote, talk about Alexe saying how she got concussed from the bull riding date. Did you hear about this?
Oh, no, I did not hear about this. I'm excited to hear.
So Alexe from The Bachelor wasn't on the nighttime portion of the date. I remember seeing a tweet about it, but like I honestly was busy taking notes and I really didn't pay too much attention. And Alexe conveniently wasn't involved in that drama. So like it's easy to miss her in that scene. And Alexe went on Instagram stories yesterday and posted how she got a concussion during the bull riding date.
Oh my God.
And that's why she wasn't there. But like my takeaway from this whole story is like, tell me Alexe doesn't win without telling me. If they didn't feel it necessary to even tell us that she got injured, because like I feel like if this was someone that really ended up with Grant, she could get injured, then at the cocktail party like the next night spend extra time with her, give her an ice pack, see how she is.
I don't know, because I think what you said earlier, like Alexe wasn't involved in any of that drama, so it is easy to miss that she's not there at the group date. I don't know if they needed to explain that to us.
Right.
I think maybe the more telling thing is that Grant didn't seem upset or like concerned about her, because I'm assuming she had to go to the doctor or the hospital. I don't know what happens when you get concussed. You have to get that checked out.
One? Yeah.
No.
There's really nothing to do. I don't know. I remember getting a concussion when I feel like everyone got it when they were like 15. If you haven't had a concussion,
everyone got concussions. Not me, but I didn't play sports, so that's probably why. How'd you get it?
dancing.
Like a lot of
foot
girls
hit
I
me in
did
the head.
cheerleading with would get it, obviously, because like, they're flipping around and stuff.
You did cheerleading with? Like, were you a cheerleader?
Yeah, I did do cheerleading in high school.
Oh, so that's a sport.
Yeah, but I was never good enough to like.
I was never
be
good enough to get a
concussed.
concussion. Yeah.
No,
Okay.
honestly, I was never that good at cheerleading, and then I did drama club instead. Yeah, I do think it's also funny too that like it's not funny actually at all because concussions are serious. But Alexe was the one that like crafted that strategy and of the holding the bull by the horns, and then it didn't work out for her. And then Zoe got to use the strategy and didn't get concussed.
Yeah. But on other seasons, there's always someone that goes to the hospital and gets injured, and then the lead gets like a special moment with them because they missed. Like, I've seen this film before. And the fact that they just like skipped over Alex's injury entirely, I just am saying, I don't think it's a good sign, guys. Do you all remember when Kirpa randomly got like a bandage on her chin?
Yeah,
and they just
she
like
slipped. Yeah.
And the whole story is crazy. And I think there's like footage that you could see on YouTube that didn't make air. But like, if that were Cassie that season, I think they would have told us what happened. And I just think if it's someone that maybe doesn't end up having a strong enough storyline, I think if Juliana got a concussion, maybe we would have heard about it. Or Carolina. Just saying.
Fair point.
But also they are very much involved in the story. Yeah. So
I do think it's interesting though that we were talking last episode about where do we draw the line, like wild animals? No, they couldn't have real bulls, but they still got hurt even with the fake bulls.
Right.
So really, where do you draw the line here?
Also, Reality Steve texted me yesterday and confirmed that I was correct. There was a date where they had girls in a cage and sharks were charging at them.
That's insane to me.
I was
Wait,
so
what season?
He's like, did you? So he goes, I'm pretty sure it was Brad's season. I'm like, oh, okay, haha. I guessed it was Courtney's season, but I don't know. I just have this like vague memory. And he's like, I'm trying to find it on the internet. And then he eventually found something and he sent it to me, and it was Courtney's season. And Courtney didn't even remember it herself. But on Courtney's season, on Ben Flajnik's season, they have a shark date. So I wasn't crazy. It wasn't Deal or No Deal Island.
And the girls are just in a cage and sharks are coming at them?
We're going to have to roll back the tapes.
Are they scuba diving, or how does that work?
I don't remember. The people on the actual season don't even remember. So this is all coming from like a viewer memory from 10 years ago. But yes, I'm sure they had to have had some type of oxygen down there. I don't think they're holding their breath, if that's what you're asking.
Well, no, but I guess I'm just curious how it was all working. Or if
Yeah.
they would just like go down like snorkel style, come back up. I
As a
don't
shark
know.
is charging at their cage. I'm pretty sure they had oxygen tanks, like masks. So
Right. Or
scuba
if it was
diving.
like they're at an aquarium and it's like just glass and they're just seeing the sharks and they're like, ah, scary, but there
No,
was
no,
not in
they
any real
they went
danger.
in.
I don't
No,
know.
no, they went under the water in a cage. Told you guys.
Ugh.
Anyway, so we got a lot of submissions about the SNL 50th anniversary.
Hmm.
What did you watch it? Was it a multi-night thing?
It was a multi-night thing because I think they did. See, I should know this working at Peacock because it was a huge deal at work, obviously. I think it was Saturday night they did the actual episode, and then there was some sort of concert or show or something else on Sunday at Radio City Music Hall.
Yeah.
So it was a big event, and it was so intense that for all NBC employees, they basically said so they were doing the show on Saturday, and so from like Friday to throughout the weekend, no NBC employees were allowed to go into the office unless they were like very specifically mandated. Like normally, if I wanted to go to the office on a Friday, I could just swipe my badge and walk in, but like I was banned from going to 30 Rock
Ooh.
on Friday. As we're
Just because there
all
was a lot of celebrities are going to be there?
yeah, yeah.
I'd
So
be
they
like,
were making
screw
it a huge
you.
deal. No, I
You're
know.
like, guys, we need to come back to the office and really start putting in our hours at our desks just so you can see the
No,
people.
but I feel like if we could have done that, a lot of people would have done that, right? Like it's
Yeah.
fun to try to see who I can see in the elevators and who I see like in the hallways and stuff in general, and especially on a day like that. But yeah, it was a huge deal. So yeah, I guess it was 2 nights, but I didn't watch it. I'm not a huge SNL person in general. Like I like the popular clips, but
Yeah.
what was the story? You said the big story was Ryan and Blake were at the thing, but
Yeah.
what's the story with
So
that?
you
No,
haven't seen
I know
this.
they were literally
Oh,
there, but
okay.
like what's the
So the thing
story?
is, the story is, well, one, they're there. That's part of the story on its own. But two, they were part of a joke, and it was a stage
Oh yeah,
joke.
I
And
did see this joke with
okay.
Tina Fey and Amy Poehler.
Who else? Who else has a question?
I have a question.
Oh, hey, Ryan Reynolds.
Hi.
Hey. Ryan Reynolds, how's it going?
Great. Why? What have you heard?
People were like, was this a planned joke? Did Blake know about
Of
it? Because
course.
the way she looks, I was like, well, you know what? Blake's a way better actress than I thought. Because in the clip, she really, honestly, I do think she's a good actress. The way she looks at him, it's as if she's like really angry and doesn't want him to be talking about anything.
There's no
I-
way it's not a planned joke.
Well, I know now
Yeah.
more has come out and people are like, guys, they're not just like
Yeah.
spur of the moment throwing that out there.
No.
My thoughts are like I've kind of went back and forth on where I stood on this. Do I think they need to hide in a hole for the next year? Obviously not. Do I think they need to walk a red carpet and be among like all of these A-listers on a televised event? I don't think that's the smartest move. And I think a lot of people are looking at that like, wait, like why would you attend? I don't really feel like it's the best look for them to attend given what
Really?
they're
Why would
going
they
through.
not attend? I actually don't agree at all. Like, why would they not attend?
I think Justin Baldoni's lawyers, as I said, are
Mhm.
stellar. And they clapped back and said, I don't know of anyone that's ever been in the midst of like a sexual harassment lawsuit and made a joke about it. And the fact that like Ryan saying like, oh, why? What have you heard? I didn't even think of it that way. And then once he said that, I was like, that's actually a really good point. I just feel like they have so much more to lose than Justin because Justin's not an A-lister and has this like popularity that they do. They have so much more on the line. And I don't know if like attending that was necessary. I don't think anyone would have been like, where's Blake and Ryan if they didn't attend.
No, but I mean, I think they're attending because it's an A-list event. They live in New York. They're invited. They're able to go. Yeah, I don't think it really has anything to do like with the lawsuit at all. I think
What
I think the
doesn't?
joke, like,
Him saying, why, what have you heard? Is
right,
him,
they making a
they're
joke
making
that they've
fun of
been
the-
in the news a lot.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're making fun of the situation.
yeah, but they've been in the news for a lawsuit.
No, correct.
That involves
but
like sexual
why-
harassment.
Why would
So
they
it's
not
weird.
go to?
I just don't know. It's so quick on the heels of all this.
It's their job, though. I think like we look at these things and we're like, "Ooh, this glamorous, like fun event, like it's a party." but it is work. Like that's their job to go to these things. So I think even if Blake was struggling to live her daily life, if there was a time to be like, all right, let's power up, like let's show face, like let's go to this thing, it's something like that.
Yeah.
And I do think the joke was so quick and so fleeting that it was just kind of like I don't think it means that they're insensitive to what they're dealing with or the topic. It literally was just like, oh yeah, we've been in the news a lot. What have you heard? Quick joke, move on.
And I wonder if the reason why they went or why they maybe were encouraged by their PR team or whatever is that to try to get them positive press. I do feel at this point they're not going to get positive press. Like I think it's a type of thing that the wind can blow the wrong way and people are going to have a problem with it, just given that they're so immersed in this lawsuit that I don't know if it was the best look to attend something so publicized. But
what's the look? Like, I don't know. I agree with you that yes, they're probably going to just get more positive press. I actually think it would be a bigger story if they didn't go.
I would have never even thought, where's Blake and Ryan?
Anyone in New York is at the SNL 50th anniversary. But I don't know. They're staples in like New York, A-list celebrity.
I just don't think they're top of mind, specifically for SNL too. Like, I mean, yes, you're saying they're in New York, and I did forget they lived there. But like, I would think if Pete Davidson didn't attend, I'd be like, where's Pete Davidson?
Sure.
But Blake and Ryan, it's kind of random.
Has Ryan hosted? He might have. I don't know.
He probably, I'm sure
I can't remember. And maybe Blake, I don't know if either of them have hosted. I just know they go a lot. Like when Taylor was performing, they were there a lot. I don't think them poking a quick joke at the situation means that they don't think the situation's serious.
No, I think it was a joke. I think they were, but I don't know if the joke landed the way they wanted. But I don't think it means they're taking it lightly. I think that's how the public is perceiving it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
Can we talk about Traitors? I got a lot of questions about Traitors, and we have not debriefed since, spoiler alert, Boston Rob was sent home. The last we spoke about
we haven't talked about it since?
We haven't talked about the challenge with the bugs that drop on their heads. That whole thing, we have that whole episode on, we have not talked about. And I texted Jackie after that and I said that was the best television I've ever seen in my entire life. Even though Boston Rob went home that episode, just the entire episode as a whole was so wild.
It was a really good episode. I do think it was Boston Rob's time, unfortunately. That feels so long ago. I guess because we had April last week, so we skipped a sound off. So yeah, it's been a few weeks.
Wait, today's Thursday. We get to watch it tonight. Oh, we're always a week behind. Sorry, guys.
No, see, I have a problem now because Severance also comes out now on Thursdays at 9. So what am I going to watch? And it's, honestly, hate to break it to you, it's going to be Severance. It's way more time consuming. And then I'll watch Traitors on Friday.
But there's no time, like it's not like we record a recap of it the next day.
No,
so
I know, but it's just stressful. I need to know like what's going on immediately with both shows. Both are like appointment viewing television, in my opinion. Literally watch a Severance for 1 week and all of a sudden I make it my whole personality.
Yeah.
So I do have a dilemma, you see, because I used to love Thursdays looking forward to Traitors, and now I need to watch my other show.
I'm excited that today's Thursday and I get to watch it tonight. So I've always said that I fast forward the challenges, but this like Fear Factor date where they had
so weird to me that you liked this challenge, because I feel like you hated Survivor and Bugs and all these things 2 weeks ago. Honestly, we've both changed so much.
I know.
Me with Severance, you with Deal or No Deal Island.
Seriously. But if you guys haven't seen it yet, you have like a partner and you guys have to hold hands inside a box, and they just put the craziest stuff inside the box, like mealworms and crazy crawling things. They put at one point they put a snake on them, and you can't break like the hold with your partner or you lose. And I mean, Boston Rob talking Ciara through it, and he's like, "Hey Ciara, what's your birthday?" Like trying to get her mind off of it. And I'm like, this is the hottest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Like I've learned that his birthday is Christmas, which I will now be referring to as Boston Rob's birthday.
Worst birthday.
I know it's not a great birthday, but
wow. That explains why he's so cutthroat, because he's damaged from having a birthday on Christmas. Like that's really, I think out of all the birthdays you could possibly have in the whole world, I really do think that's the worst one.
Yeah, it's like Merry Christmas and Happy Birthday. Like, ugh, no. And my
Yeah.
birthday is January 7th, and I've said this before. I think I'm just far enough away. Like I'm close. I'm cutting it very, very close. But like being in the new year, it's like people have moved on from Christmas. So
Yeah.
I don't feel that like connection to Christmas, whereas like other people
No,
in
to have
December do.
a birthday on Christmas is actually so sad because
Yeah.
none of your friends are available to
Right.
do something with you. Actually, so my friend Haley, her birthday is also on Christmas and she's Jewish. So like her family's not even doing a bigger celebration for Christmas. But then all of her other friends are like doing things with their families for Christmas. And that's really the worst situation for her.
That's not fun.
I know. Shout out Haley.
So Boston Rob ends up winning that one, I think, right? They win that.
Yeah. I don't even remember. It was so long ago, I feel.
Between that challenge and then the challenge from this past week where the dolls sing you a song backwards and then you have to sing the song backwards and then the other team has to sing it and then put it into a machine that turns the song backwards. Like what kind of sick sociopath comes up with these storylines? Like for real.
No, I thought the singing one was also entertaining to watch because Tom Sandoval was really using it as his time to shine and to show the audience that he is a musical girly.
Right.
Yeah, I wish though that we've said this before. I wish the challenges had more to do with like the actual gameplay of the show because it's like I don't need to see you guys run around with dolls to get $5,000. Like just give them $5,000.
Yeah. Although like I feel like the challenges this season have been a little more entertaining. Like this Tom Sandoval running around being like, no one else is musically inclined like me, so I'm going to take the reins on this challenge. It just has been more entertaining to watch.
Yeah, I like when they're more psychological than, or just like mental and cerebral in general, as opposed to the physical challenges. Like, I don't think you guys need to like run and jump, but like the bug thing I think was a good test of like mind over matter. Cause like Boston Rob was right when he was talking Ciara through it. These bugs are not going to hurt you. The snake is not going to hurt you. They're not giving you actual like poison scorpions that are going to be a problem. It's just uncomfortable. So you have to just breathe through it. And so I feel like those challenges are more interesting to watch because you really see people's like weaknesses come out.
Totally. And my weakness, I would have been like Chriselle immediately. No,
see, I think I would be good at it.
I mean, if I had someone talking me through it, maybe.
You're like, if I was holding Boston Rob's hand and he was whispering sweet nothings into my ear, I think I could stay.
Stephanie, what's your birthday? You like veal parmesan?
That's his like hot, sexy chat. It's like, ayo.
Oh my God. Wait, we need to discuss something else that happened on the last episode of Traitors that I'm not seeing anyone talk about, and it's really stressing me out. Sam, Brittany's ex Sam, speaks for the first time.
I know.
And proves that he is a literal genius, only to not execute on his theory and completely drop the ball.
Okay, so, to say literal genius is generous, but okay.
So what happens is the Traitors do a in-person murder. So everyone whoever got murdered, it was Chriselle that got murdered. Yeah. She got to see the Traitors in person, but she goes home because she's murdered. So everyone who doesn't get murdered, they see Alan instead of the Traitors because they weren't murdered. So Sam's like, oh, so everyone that walked in should be able to describe what Alan was wearing if they aren't a traitor. Because how am I not? I want to make sure I explain this right.
No, you're explaining it perfectly. Yeah.
Okay. Because a traitor didn't get to see Alan because they were murdering someone. So when he said that, I was like, mind blown. That is so smart. I would have not thought of that. But then Carolyn falls right into the trap and can't answer the question. And like, while I know that Tom Sandoval did step in and like be Tom Sandoval and totally try to help her out. Like he was trying to be nice, like try to help her describe what Alan was wearing, not realizing what they were trying to do. Why didn't Sam, Gabby, or anyone else in the room clock that and bring that up later?
I think because Carolyn is a good traitor in the sense that people really underestimate her. And I think a lot of people write off the things that she says and does. It's like, oh, that's just Carolyn. She's just like dumb. Like they don't expect a lot from her. So even when she wasn't able to really describe what Alan was wearing, they're like, oh, Carolyn, yeah, she's just silly, goofy. She's not paying attention. So they write her off. She's so underestimated. I really do think she's the best traitor and she has the ability to win.
Did it stress you out when like they're like, oh, Carolyn, like what was Alan wearing? And she's like, what do you mean? And then she just starts like, well, he's wearing, clothes. And I'm like, oh my God, Carolyn, get it together. Just like name something that he was
I
wearing.
know.
Then they have the audacity at the round table later that night to be like, well, the only piece of evidence we have is Ciara and the coffin theory. And it's like, is that really the only piece of evidence? Because Danielle, a few episodes, decided not to save herself 2 separate times, which we both clocked and thought was really weird. Carolyn couldn't explain like what Alan was wearing. That's not the only piece of evidence. It just,
I do think there's a lot at the round tables that we don't see. Like, I think they cut a lot out because I'm also very curious how long those round tables
oh, I know,
go for. But I find it very hard to believe that both those two things weren't brought up. But I think they just cut it around like whatever the story is going to be. And obviously Ciara like almost unanimously got voted out. And so they kind of leaned into that. How did it end? Remind me. Are they going to recruit? Oh, because now Danielle wants to recruit Brittany, her friend. And
I thought, and
is that
Carolyn
who they
wants
ended
to
up
recruit.
sending? Did they send something out to Gabby, or do they know who they
we don't know.
They asked or no?
I don't
Okay,
think
I know
so.
Gabby was a conversation because Danielle really, really wanted Brittany, her friend, and Carolyn's like, no, no. Why would I let you bring your friend in here so you guys can turn against me? Which again, Carolyn, smart. And Danielle's trying to convince her, like, no, we'd all work together, the 3 of us. And it's just like, that's not how this game works once you get down to the end. So it's just such empty promises.
Yeah.
Danielle's the worst traitor I've literally ever seen in my life, I think.
There's a lot of people that are not liking her. I don't mind her. I don't think she's playing a great game. And like, if I were a traitor with her, I would not trust her.
No, of course not.
You
So
know?
they're going to now recruit someone. We don't know who. And we don't know if that person will accept because it's not an ultimatum situation. It could be like a Peter Pals where Peter rejects.
Who do we? I don't think she's going to be able to do Brittany. I think it should be Gabby.
Your Carolyn voice is really good.
Thanks. I think so.
Yeah, I would like it for it to be Gabby because I've been loving Gabby this season, and I've also been loving other non-Bachelor people discover the gem that is Gabby Windy, and that's been really cool to watch. Like on TikTok, everyone being like, "Wait, this girl is hilarious. Where has she been all of our lives?" And so I want to see more of her, and I feel like the way we'll see her for longer is if she becomes a traitor.
Can you give us a Gabby? You haven't done it in so long.
I know I haven't. Also, she hasn't really been talking like that as much on the show.
Or you'll be hearing from my lawyers.
Me and Robbie, we're going to the castle with Alan. I'm lethargic. Is that how she said it? Kind of? I don't know.
No, I have business hours.
I have business hours. Past 3 p.m. I'm tired. I just had lunch. I'm lethargic. I feel like her voice has changed, right? I feel like when she was the Bachelorette, it was always like, right, yeah. And now she's like a little bit more, like, I don't know. I feel like her voice is a little more quirky, but less raspy. It's more like blur, blur, blur. Like, you know, when she does that with her nails, when her nails are blue, she's like, my nails are blur.
Yeah, I do.
It's just kind of different. So
you're gonna have to adapt your impression off of how she changes. So take some time and study it, and then report back on the new Gabby. But I'm also a fan of the old Gabby impression.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah,
that was amazing. That was really good.
Thanks. I know. I feel like sometimes I have it and sometimes I don't. Watch Severance, Stefanie. I need to know what's going on at that company, guys. A bunch of you guys did DM me about Severance, just in general, being like, talk about it. It's so good. DM me about it. Because now I'm finally all caught up. So there's a new episode tonight, Thursday night. I finished all the episodes last night. So I'm all caught up. I'm good. I can go on the internet. I can read the Reddit. And like, now I can know all the theories because I won't be worried that any theory will like spoil anything for me. We can speculate. Yeah. So guys, DM me because I'm like, what is going on at that company?
To be determined. Someone wrote, Susie was supposedly asked to be the Bachelorette. Yeah, that came from our interview. Have you ever heard of She's All Batch?
At ourselves, yeah.
There's a lot of times someone will submit in my sound off box stuff that has been like revealed on our show.
That's funny.
Like, are there watch parties in Chicago for this season? Grant. This is not Google. I'm sure there are watch parties.
Yeah, I don't know. We don't live in Chicago, so I don't know.
But just the way it was even written. Are there watch parties in Chicago this season, Grant? Like that's how you would write it into Google.
That's funny. Oh, I saw you had on your story asking people if you should watch Love is Blind. Are you gonna
Yeah.
watch? I'm not
So,
going
okay,
to.
I'm gonna report back on my findings from you guys.
Yeah, the
Not
scientific
not
poll.
only not only was the poll more saying no than yes, but I also got a lot of DMs of people explaining it. Some people are like, it picks up like
Hmm.
later. Reality Steve told me they're in the pods for like 7 episodes. And I just like
Mm.
I'm getting annoyed at producers and people that run shows that don't understand what people want. And
Yeah,
the pods is not it. Pods for 2 to 3 episodes max, and then let's move on. So I
agreed.
don't think I can, knowing that. I did watch part of the first episode and then I fell asleep. But then after these scientific findings, I'm like, am I really supposed to?
No, I just think the moment has passed on Love is Blind. Like these shows come in waves and it gets repetitive after a while. It's like I think I said this last season when you were like, "No, watch Love is Blind." I was like, "No, I've already seen it." Like Phoebe's like,
Yeah.
"No, I don't need to see a movie. I've already seen one."
Someone else wrote Matt James deleted his weird Rachel breakup post. This is kind of old, but we never talked about
Yeah,
it. What are your thoughts on him deleting it?
I think it's just weird.
It's just
But I think it's maybe his way of just trying to like stop the conversation, right?
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
clearly this was something that blew up. A lot of people had opinions about it. A lot of people were talking about it. I'm sure his comments were up the wazoo insane. Or actually, did he turn comments off on
I
that?
think he
I think he
did.
did.
But maybe he wanted to just like erase it now. Like it's
Right.
gone.
Like
I
it's
don't want
just
to deal
time.
with
Like
it.
he posted it. We've seen it. We know they're broken up. But maybe he doesn't want that lingering on his page and it's his way of just wanting to move on, which
Yeah.
I can understand.
I can understand that too.
Yeah.
Another thing people have asked, and I don't know if you'll know this answer, but
Mhm.
Litia is on vacation with a bunch of girls from Zach season, and everyone's
I did see
confused.
that. There was a
Why is
TikTok of them
okay?
all together. I don't remember like what the sound was, but it was like something, where they're all just like, lip syncing to a sound. Yeah, it was all the Zach's girls. I'm assuming maybe she is friends with them from before or knows them. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people get on the show because they were friends with someone who was already on the show. So maybe she knew someone from Zach's season and that's how she even got on the show.
Yeah.
Or they just connected from being on the show and she's friends with them. I don't know why people are like shocked and so surprised by this.
It is a little weird though, because now, so I got this submitted a few times, but one person wrote, how is Litia already in with Batch Nation? Feels like a spoiler. And now, again, now that you put it that way, I didn't think of it that way. But if she were the final girl, would she
Right.
be allowed to really be go? Like you kind of have to keep a low profile. I don't.
Oh, see, I was actually thinking about it the opposite way that if Grant
Oh,
picks her,
oh no.
then,
See, I wouldn't
she's
think she
spending
would
more
be
time with
allowed.
Grant, and then she's spending more time with like the people on Grant's season of like Jen's guys who are that like it all because it all like spirals into like the previous season, previous season, previous season. And if she's spending more time with Grant, then maybe that's just getting her more plugged in with other people from Bachelor Nation that she's becoming friends with.
Mm. See, I feel like it kind of is like remember how we said Mark sitting next to Joan at some after
Hmm.
show? We're like, well, obviously they don't end up together because they wouldn't be seen. They wouldn't put them together. Granted, I know ABC
Hmm.
didn't make them go on this trip together. I don't know if Litia would be advised to go on a trip like that if she wins.
But she's not with Grant. Like she's just with other girls from the franchise.
I don't think Litia or Alex wins based on today's findings. I think it's
That's
Juliana.
fine. I think Litia still has a chance. I agree with you on the Alex one. Think Litia still has a chance. I think she just is friends with these girls, maybe because
Some
she knew them
connection.
prior and that's how she got on the show, or started becoming friends with them through just being on the show. It's not that deep, guys.
It may be deep though. We don't know.
Right.
Someone wrote Bachelor Nation conspiracy theories, and one of our first episodes ever, we did Bachelor Nation conspiracy theories. It's a very, very old episode, so I don't know like how relevant it is today. But one of the theories was that if you want to talk about any of our, do you remember any of them?
I
One was
remember
that
some of them, but what's
something
the one
about
you're talking
Claire.
about?
There was one, but I think we've gotten to the bottom of it
Oh,
since
my theory was that they actually started Claire's season and
stopped
she
it.
gave out a first impression rose. Yeah, and then stopped it because of the pandemic, but then they pretended like they hadn't stopped it and that's why her and Dale why she was so into Dale because she had already met him
Yeah.
before. But I think we debunked that because we've talked to enough of Claire's guys now.
It was Noah. We asked
Yeah.
Noah, and he said that's not true, that she really just connected with him on night one. But Noah did tell us in that interview that they told him, like, oh, we're not bringing you out night one. We're going to bring you out later in case something happens with the Bachelorette. And we were like, well, why are you like planning for Claire to quit? And the whole thing seems suspicious to me.
You showed up with the intention of being on Claire's season, but then what did they say to you? Just kidding. You're not going on right now. You're going to sit in this hotel. Like, what did you think was happening there?
What I remember was them being like, hey, are you willing to possibly wait with the chance of things turning out differently? Like, they're really vague. Or you go on now, there's 30 other guys. You're the youngest one. We won't get to view your story. I was like, sure. I mean, if that's the gamble, is me versus 30 guys and I can't even talk to Claire, I was like, I'd rather just
But it's like they were planning for her to leave, though. If they're telling you that
I don't know
off
if
the
they were
bat-
planning, but I think they know her.
So
And
no, they were planning on her to leave.
And they know Dale. Like, there had to have been something else. But it was, hey, there's a gamble.
And then Claire
is
saw that
suspicious.
clip and then wrote me and said that we are onto something here. So I think there's more to that story. How are y'all staying sane and keeping from doom scrolling? Who says we are?
We're not. Yeah.
Like,
Like, what do you
what?
mean? We doom scroll all the time. Or at least I'll speak for myself. I doom
No,
scroll all the time.
I doom scroll all the time. I think TikTok has like ruined my life. I was just thinking about this last night that I don't know. I felt like I was more present and in the moment before TikTok, and now I feel like you get that constant like hit of dopamine when you get like a video that you like, that you're constantly searching for that. So anytime there's like a lull in a conversation or something, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of affected me in that way. I hate it. And I want to delete TikTok, but I can't.
No, don't delete it. It's crazy because I feel like in some ways TikTok has been like, a wonderful community of like funniness and happiness, and there are a lot of good things that come out of TikTok too. But yeah, no, I'm sick in the head. Like, I can literally sit in my bed and scroll TikTok for 2 hours as opposed to like sitting down and like watching a movie or reading a book. Ever heard of it? Like, no, I don't read books. Like, that's insane. The way I keep a book on my nightstand, pretending like every night before bed I'm going to read a little bit, and I never open it and I just scroll on my phone, is sick and disgusting.
It's like a prop. You're setting the scene for what you want to happen, but it's just there. It's just there for decoration.
I should try, maybe even if it's just like 1 page a day.
Right.
And then reward myself with TikToks.
Right.
Be like, okay, look, read 2 pages of a book. Like, get your brain working the littlest bit, and then you can scroll TikTok for 45 minutes.
See, I would delete TikTok from my phone, but then I would be nervous that I would never be able to get back in. And I don't have enough willpower to just not click on it. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like if it weren't there, I would be better, because then I'd be like, oh God, I have to download it and sign back in. That's never going to happen. Yeah. But I would be really nervous that eventually when I want to get back in, like, I won't remember my password and I won't be able to get back in. And it's going to be a whole thing.
Also, you can't delete it because I truly believe that TikTok is what's keeping us young and in the loop with like what people are talking about and what's going on. When I tell you, I have friends that are like very holier than thou. Oh no, I never downloaded TikTok. I just watch Reels. Like, Reels is not the same. You are getting the trends and information 6 to 8 months after it's already on TikTok. You're so behind. Or like, I'll make references to certain trending sounds or little jokes, and like the people who are on TikTok know what I'm talking about. And then people who don't watch TikTok are just like, what are you talking about? And I think that's a bad way to live.
And you know what? Those people are holier than thou because they're too good for TikTok. But when I'm on a group chat and they send a reel and it's such an outdated thing, I want to be holier than thou and be like, cool, we all saw this last winter, but I don't because I don't want to be a jerk. But
and think of how much TikTok has changed even the way we talk and our phrases. Like, even the tell me she doesn't win without telling me she doesn't win. Like, that was a TikTok trend. And certain people speak that way and know what you're saying. And some people, like, not to call him out, but like my brother, not on TikTok, not interested, whatever. And I just feel like he's 2 years younger than me. And sometimes I feel like I'm like, why are you 45 and I feel like I'm 21 like young and hip and I know what the kids are talking about and you don't.
Yeah.
It's very weird. And I feel like it also helps me to like we have interns at work and they're all like little Gen Zs and I feel like I can relate to them and talk to them in a way that like other people I feel like other people at work like roll their eyes and they're like, ugh, like the Gen Zs. I'm like, no, I love them. Hee hee,
Like,
guys,
hey,
you see
girly
that
pops.
TikTok? Yeah. I'm like that. What's that meme where is it Christopher Walken or maybe it's Steve Buscemi where he has like the hat on. He's like, hey, fellow kids.
I don't know it, but it actually reminds me of the Mean Girls mom when she's like, "Oh, you girls keep me so young."
Oh yeah. No,
That's you
TikTok
walking
literally
past the
keeps
intern
us
desk.
young. I love it so much. Yes, that's how I feel.
That's my skincare routine. TikTok.
So true. See this glowing skin, guys? Sunscreen and TikTok, baby.
Right, and Blissy pillowcases.
So true.
Use code BETCH30. Anyway, well, I think that's all the time we have today. But we'll be back next week to recap episode 5 of Grant's season.
Yeah, we are flying through it.
We're really flying through it. Until then, is that it, Jackie?
I think that's it.
Goodbye, bitches.